time to take a stand, bringing the truth to a fucked up land. We've had enough of the lies and deceit. We're done for good with the toxicity. All hail thanks, we are the Rabyd Nation. All hail thanks, we are the Rabyd Nation. All hail thanks, we are the Rabyd Nation. We are the Rabyd Nation.
All right, and a hearty shout out to all of you in the Rabyd Nation. Welcome, one and all. Whether you're a tourist, a citizen, or just looking across the border, wondering whether or not to join the Rabyd Nation, welcome, one and all, to the Rabyd Atheist, to the live stream. And yes, you are not imagining things. This is the Rabyd Atheist on a Tuesday when normally I'm off. I've decided to go 5 days a week, and so here we are on Rabyd Atheist on a Tuesday, and just so everybody knows, like, today is in the news, and I'm going to cover a news story that I found very interesting, that I think has relationship to a lot of things that are going on, which also alarms me because it's religious motivation. But I'm also going to try different things on Tuesday until I find something. It might end up being a hodgepodge of in the news, dealing with comments, just the random stuff. So there you go. There you go. But I am your host, Ed Rabyd, a former pastor, turned atheist, now compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel, and happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. I don't know. People ask me why I do these Catholic holidays. Well, some of the saints are actually kind of cool when you consider their relics. Although I'm trying to work Fangsology into some of it, and St. Patrick's is one of my favorite. Like, it's a boss move to get rid of all the snakes in Ireland. That was kind of a boss move, but it's not quite as boss as having your skull sprout thorns and roses on St. Valentine's Day. So it's like, there you go. But today we're going to look at the war in Iran and some of the religious overtones to that. So there you have that. Other announcements, there is, of course, a goal in chat. If I reach that goal, I will add a very St. Patrick-y hat to the beads I'm wearing around my neck. So we'll end up doing that as well. So that goal helps me keep the stream going and keep my channel running and all the things that I do. So thank you very much for everybody who donates. Let's see. Oh, hold on. I have an advertisement that I have to run because, that's what I have to do. But Earl sent me this earlier. I want to remind everybody that we're going to try a vintage movie night on Saturdays at 9 p.m. on the Discord. So if you're looking for a place to hang out on Saturday night, we're doing some vintage movies and stuff like that. So just hanging out with the rest of the fluffle. So we'll maybe see you all then. So, and I'll run that again a little bit at the end. All right, but let's see, who is tomorrow's stream? Red letters, red flags. Thursday is the hangout, and then Friday will be my birthday celebration. So I'll be doing that. I think that's the rest of the streams, rest of the ads. I think that's it. And let's see, let's do a quick roll call. Nathan was here earlier. Welcome, Nathan. Scuzzbopper is here. John from Holland is here. The mighty Philbert. Hey, I saw your video today, mighty Philbert, the mighty one. You could have done a top 10 because the one that affected me that kind of got missed was the actual Iran hostage crisis in 1979. That one was a big one for me. I remember being in 4th and 5th grade and dealing with that crap. So that was another big one for Gen X. And that's why the Iran Contra one was so controversial. It's like, didn't these people just hold us hostage like 3 years ago? I remember, let's see, Evan is here. I'm here on time, but only for a little bit because I had a board meeting in 30-ish minutes. Okay, that's fair. All right, Blossom, good to see you. Dragon Rider with the St. Patrick's Day. All right. Look at you people. Josh, laying down the green already. Thank you, sir. All right. Yeah, there was a like a this is kind of the point of this story. Like Iran has been in the headlines, like the mighty Philbert touched on it today with the Iran Contra controversy affecting Gen X. But it's also like it. Iran has been part of the American public consciousness for quite some time. Okay, so this Iran war is nothing new. Like it's been around for a while. Like when you consider the United States has used the CIA to topple governments in Iran and reset up other ones, and then there was a reaction to that that toppled that government and got the current religious government that we have. Like there's always been this tone with Iran that's always been there. I think didn't Bush 43 called it part of the axis of evil, Iraq, Iran, and North Korea. Yeah, it's just like it's. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's arguing who started this one. Okay, like this is well known, but it's like it's the story that caught my attention in all this hubbub over the last 3 weeks is one that was done by oh, I'm trying to remember who started it, but I know Snoop's like investigated to see if it was true, and it is indeed true that Democrats, 28 Democrats, did issue a probe into the Department of Defense, the DoD's use of apocalyptic Christian rhetoric, what they termed, let me see. The claim is that 20 Democrats invested in education to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth after hundreds of troops reported commanders using end times Christian fascism as justification for the Iran war. Now, I just want to talk about the religious overtones of this whole thing because it's like a lot of things in the news. The religious motivations for a lot of this stuff get buried under things. And the problem with anything in the Middle East is it definitely sooner or later involves some sort of religious motivations. We get the killing of the Ayatollah. Okay, like he gets killed. The war gets going, but you can't forget that the Ayatollah is not just head of the state; he's also head of the Islamic regime in Iran. And then you have the Israelis doing their thing because of the Zionists. You have the United States doing their thing because we have a bunch of Christian nationalists, end times, want the world to end kind of people in this country as well. So what you end up with is a whole bunch of stuff. And every time I see the political actions of stories and I listen to all this stuff, it's like you all are forgetting the religious overtones. Like this is the three Abrahamic religions either cooperating with each other, fighting each other, blowing each other up, and it's been going on for a very, very long time. And to me, this Iran war is just the latest installment of a whole bunch of BS. Okay, so hey, Earl, good to see you. But yes, yeah. I mean, when you have a lot of the evangelicals in power in my lovely country, the United States, they tend to push this narrative. And what was interesting to me is I'm like, okay, is that true? Because every time I hear stories come out like that, like, oh, they use end times rhetoric to motivate the troops. Is that true? Well, it turns out it is. Okay, it's mostly true. So it's not very reported, and I have to wonder why that is. I agree with you, Josh. Like I decided to look up a new tool that I had, like because I'm kind of confused. Like that seems like it should be like a bigger story than it is, and it's interesting who reports it. As I recall, here, hold on. I'm trying to remember. I know that the original reporter. Yes, it is. There are two sources on this one. One of them is considered left-leaning and the other one's centrist. So, but yes, it just was an interesting thing that came out, and it turned out that it's actually factual because there are like the legit complaints. They were complaints, but nobody's reporting it. And one of the things that alarms me whenever we have politics where religion is heavily involved is how easily and conveniently the media ignores the religion. I remember Christopher Hitchens complained about this. If anybody remembers the old story where the one cartoonist, the one Daniel, John might remember this one, where this cartoonist depicted Muhammad, and the media was falling all over their backwards trying to apologize for the cartoonist. like yeah, I know I know his theology is terrifying. Some of the stuff that he believes is absolutely scary. And that's why I'm saying that this is definitely one of those religious angles here, because every time you get something happening in the Middle East, Earl, you have a whole bunch of evangelical Christians that are end times prophetess type things wet their pants. Like it's something that, oh my God, Jesus is coming, and they're all for it. And so I am not surprised if this was true. Okay, it's not quite a single source. There's two sources on it. There's one source that reported it, and then the second one zapped out a fact check and said, yeah, it looks pretty good. And then I said, okay, let's fact check it with something else. And sure enough, this probably did happen. The problem is it's not being reported. Okay. So, Charlie Hebdo. Like, all of a sudden, in the face of fear from Islamic extremists, everybody's like falling all over themselves to try to apologize to Islam. And a lot of people didn't buy it, but it's every time we deal with the Middle East, okay, Islam is going to come up, Israel is going to come up, and Christian evangelicals here in the United States, bam, they are all for it because they want to see the world end. And we talked about it yesterday, like some of the most dangerous things that Christians believe. This is kind of one of those dangerous beliefs on display. So, yeah, it's always been a large chunk of the population wants to see the end of the world. And it's like, you got to remember, Islam has a very apocalyptic end of the world scenario that they're aiming for. Christians in the United States have this very apocalyptic end of the world scenario that they're aiming for. And you also have the Jews that are kind of like, this is our homeland, God gave us this land, et cetera, which starts this whole conflict in the first place. So every time something happens around Israel or the Middle East, these people wet their pants. Now, the Peter Hegseth story, our lovely DOD story, interestingly enough, I think it's true based on because the filed complaints would be a matter of record. And it turns out that I think somebody looked into that. Yep, those complaints were actually filed. So it means either you have a bunch of people that are like these 200 people are making up a conspiracy, or there were actually some rhetoric about end times used to motivate the troops in this war. So why isn't it being more reported? Okay, because our media has a tendency, much like anything else, to back off religion because they don't want to offend certain people, or they don't want to make certain people mad, or they don't want to call out the bullshit of the religion, because everybody has the right to believe what they believe. I agree with that, but also I think everybody should, if you make some bullshit claim, you should be called out on it. So yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, they were involved, France, UK. It's been going on for quite a while, Earl. Like, this conflict is older than you and me. Like, it's older than most of the people in this room, probably older than all of us. Like, this goes way back to colonial days where they were creating a whole bunch of problems. So that it's the Jews and the Palestinians have been going at it for quite some time. And this is just, to me, like a latest round. So yeah, it was after World War II a little bit, but it's like it's been going on for a while. But I think even before that, you had this, like if you think about the history of Europe and the Middle East, I mean, the Crusades definitely factor into this because Christians have always been involved in this area too. And then they back Israel because Israel's chosen by God. Like when you look at all the end time prophetic stuff that the church has inflicted on this reason, and then you have Islam coming in and they don't like it. It's just a mess. Okay, and now we have the latest round, and there's still the religious overtones to this, but nobody's calling it out. Like it's like this story, which I think is very true, just isn't being picked up. I saw it briefly, and I almost didn't see it. Okay, and I have to ask the question: why is it that whenever religion gets involved, we always treat it with kids' gloves when it does something really stupid? Like the media, it doesn't matter left, right, center, they just back off this stuff. Like you got the Hedabo thing, you got over the years I've just watched the religious freedom from the military freedom from religion dude seems a bit sus. I suppose that's true, Dave. Yeah, Ryan. I'm sure that's true, Ryan. Yeah, but I get it. Yes. All three have their messiahs coming after the war in their mind. Fun fact is that Islam needs to lose the war to have him come. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, like it's like all three of the Abrahamic religions, which have done us no favors in this matter at um, all seem to have this thing. And every time, like Iran is just, this is just the latest round to me. I've been watching this for years. Like you know, Philbert brought up the Iran Contra. I would probably bring up the Iran hostage crisis. There are people that lived before me that would talk about the CIA and the nebulous regime changing of Iran back in the day before any of us were here. Like there's a whole bunch of crap that just has gone on in this region of the world, and a lot of it is religiously motivated. Like it's this, we're trying to figure out how to make it work. So I don't know. So yeah, well, yeah, that's probably true. You got to probably, but the Palestinians as a people group, I think you have them around for a while. It's a general term that refers to the people that live in Palestine. So Palestine as a name, I think, has existed for quite a while. Let's see. Before the post, there was actually a lot of Jewish Palestinian coexistence in that area. I'm sure it wasn't 100% Kumar or whatnot, but definitely a lot better. Yes. And I think it's the politics of creating the nation of Israel that absolutely did trigger a bunch of stuff. So there's that. Yeah, running, let's see. Run the Atheist Hemman has a clip cautioning about running with it too quickly. Yeah, we go. Yeah, it does seem sus. I do agree with it, but it's like it's interesting to me how religion always seems to get this pass. Like it's like the whole issue of the religious overtones of this war, it kind of gets overlooked. And I would not doubt that certain people are like going to war thinking to themselves, we're going to bring about Jesus, or we're going to bring about Muslim end times, or like the whole end times thing is here. So, yeah, it's Palestinian here. I don't know because Palestinians make claims about themselves. I wonder what claims they make about themselves. So it might be it might be considered more of a nationality, I would think. But then again, was Palestine an official? Hold on. Let's see. My memory is not. Yeah, you can get a history of the Palestinian region going back quite a way as a a geographical location. And so you might say the people that live in the geographical location. So yeah, I could think you could make a case for Palestinians being a broad general people group of people that live in the Palestine region geographically. So yeah, I mean, you can have them be any Palestinians, or they're Palestinian Christians. There's Palestinian Islamic. There's others too. So I'm sure there's atheists too. So yeah, okay, yeah, but it's still like a region. So like when I did my geographic studies for when I was a geography teacher, we talked about the region of Palestine as a geographic entity. So it could be that. And Saudi Arabia, Egypt, I can see that. Yeah. So in other words, it's confusing. Bahydra, Theistras, okay. Yeah, you have nomadic tribes too in this mess too. So that's another possibility. Yeah, it's Palestine is kind of a messy situation, no matter what you look at it. But it's like driving these people out. Now you have Palestinians as a group that identifies themselves along some sort of line of we were here first. Why is Israel allowed to kick us out? So no doubt someone are super, but I would be just as careful about the commander said it out loud in a cartoonish, obvious way. Rumors, at least for now. Yeah, me too. I'm not saying it happened. I'm saying it could have happened. Like there's an easy way to confirm this. Like if you have 200 filed complaints that come out due Freedom of Information Act, then that part is true. Like you could Freedom of Information that you could FOIA them and see what the complaints were, and you could find out. So the fact that nobody's done so might be interesting too. And that's why nobody can claim ownership of that scrubby patch of desert. Yeah, it's probably true. Except what's interesting is the claims on that part of the desert are all religious. Like God says this is ours. And God has the only good part of that real estate is it's the only trade route between major powers for a long time and still is. Like there's nothing there in and of itself that has any value very much. Like there's, other than the Great Salt Lake, which has some very interesting mineral deposits and a few other things. It's amazing that God gives his chosen people the one place in the Middle East that doesn't have any oil. So yeah, it's like it's a stopover point. It's a trade route. You could get very rich by being the only person that controls it. Like if you controlled all of Palestine, you can get very rich as a trader. So because it's like a major U.S. highway that runs north and south or something in the United States. Like if you can control that and put a toll road on it, you make a shit ton of money. So yeah, it's a good term because it isn't exclusive. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, you can't. Okay, let's think about the Palestinian thing here. Okay, you have for the Christians, Jerusalem and many sites in Palestine are holy sites because of Jesus. Okay, so you've got like Golgotha, where he's crucified, the supposed 15 empty tomb sites. The You have Bethlehem as a holy site. Um, all of that jazz. Okay, let's see. The Muslims love the thing because they have one of their mosques, like their second holiest site in their religion. The mosque, the Mosque of Omar is on top of the Temple Mount, which is a holy site for the Jews. And nobody wants to share. Nobody, like a case of putting God in something where it shouldn't be. Yes, probably. It's lousy with Abrahamic relics. Yeah, that's one way to put it. Uh, you know, Of course, we have our own mythology here. Fangs tried to stop all this by getting all these gods just to get along, but they never could. So, I think Jesus Christ is estranged from Yahweh at this point. Like, they don't get along at all. And, Muhammad is just like, he's disgusted with the whole thing. So, hey, Brad, just woke up, huh? It's probably tomorrow, too, for you. Well, that's the issue. Like, the thing with the Christian sites in Israel is it's based on what Constantine's mother did. Like, she went there and found all these holy sites. Yep, that's the tomb. Yep, this is the cross. This is Golgotha. So, there you go. Yeah, I must with. Okay. All right. Would probably be happy to share if it wasn't for. Yeah, I mean, I think fundamentalists like we're right, everybody else is wrong. That mentality is kind of dominated by all three. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think he does, but I'm not sure. Some of these end time events are going through a religious psychosis because they're possibly that some of them need mental health resources. I have asked myself that question about end times prophetic nuts for a long time. Why do you want the end times prophetic nuttery? Like, why do you want that as part of your life? Why do you desire the world to end? And I used to have a few people in my churches that were very obsessed with end times prophecy. Like, they knew the book of Revelation like the back of their hand, and they were just into it. And they also had other large, full scale problems in their life. Like, I don't know if there's ever been a study. It'd be an interesting study to have people who have very strong end times philosophies, whether or not um, they also have like really positive views of their own personal future. Maybe that might be a good way to put it. I'm not sure. So, Jesus, okay. It's more about resources than his religion. Trump has found uses religion as a tool. Yeah. Of last year. Yes. Really doing actually deep dive. It has my problematic history and theology. You should watch it. Okay. Yeah, I don't like the guy. Like, every time he talks, the only one that makes me more mad usually Earl is RFK Jr. Like, every time he talks or does something, like, what the hell are you doing? Hey, a little late. I live where everyone wants the end times. I feel sorry for you, Travis. Like, like, the issue I think with end time, like, Iran just brings up so many things for me about how every time somebody like does something in the Middle East, every Christian evangelical end times nut just like creams their shorts. It's just it. Oh boy, Jesus, yeah, yeah, like, yeah, okay. Yeah, like, I mean, Heggsy does stuff. He makes me mad too. Like, he's like always flexing. I'm the warrior, kind of shit. I'm like, if you have to tell somebody you're a warrior, you're probably not. Um, a lion doesn't have to tell people he's a lion; he just shows up. But RFK Jr. makes me mad even more. So he like his takes on autism and all this health stuff, and he just recently. I'm like, are you the Secretary of Health and Human Services? Or are you the Secretary of Witchcraft and Shamanism? Like, I'm trying to figure it out. So, see you later, Evan. Have a good one. So, you have Israeli flags hanging around your town. Yeah, see, I can go into a little bit of theological background on that. Like, Christian evangelicals, conservative ones, have a tendency to back Israel because they think Israel is prophetic fulfillment. Now, I would argue that if you follow an old book long enough, you can self fulfill those prophecies and make them happen through political manipulation. So it's not really fulfilled prophecy so much as a whole bunch of people trying to make what they think is prophecy into reality. So, but yes, but yeah, there is a love affair with Christian evangelicalism with Israel because of this prophetic stuff. And so when Israel does something like attack Iran recently, it must fit into the prophetic mindset. And so you have a bunch of people that no matter what you do are going to support, no matter what Israel does, they're going to support it. So like you've seen this for the last, ever since the Gaza Strip thing fired up, you've seen that. So you don't like her either. Oh, well, they did fire one of them. So, only because it made them look bad. Yeah. How many, like, some of you may remember this if you've been around long enough, but Hal Lindsey, the late great Planet Earth, all those end time movies. Mighty Philbert has a great video on this stuff. We're talking about end time stuff. And we had all this stuff that predicted these end times, like Russia. The USSR was the bear of the North kind of thing, and the king of the North that speaks about in Revelation or whatever. And so they had, Hal Lindsey had this whole system of what was going to happen in the very near future based on his book. Then it didn't happen. So what does Hal do? Well, he rewrites another book and changes the goalpost. This happens all the time. End times prophecy is just this way. It's like they can manipulate it, rewrite it all the time. So, yes. yes, they did fire her. So, but yes. But yeah, it just, I don't get why nobody really examines the phenomena of end times in relationship to why we do any action in the Middle East. Like there's a religious motivation from a lot of people. And so it's something that needs to be talked about more. So, because it happens all the time. September 28th was supposed to be where many Christians started selling all their items. Yes, they do that every year. I don't know what it is with September either, Nathan. Like, didn't a guy a few years ago, like 10 years ago, when he predicted it was also in September, like it's always September something. And I don't understand it. Like they do this counting thing. I used to be more into this stuff. The only thing that alarms me now is that the basic people that believe it, they want the end times to happen. Like it's not a it's a very desired wish that the end of the world happen. And I'm just not into it. Okay. As far as I know, this is what I get. And I kind of like it to stay around, Had to be reset very early already when those promised to be alive when Jesus returned died. Yes. Yeah, Jesus kind of predicted his own return within a generation. That didn't kind of work out either. It spiked about 1912. Okay. Oh, so September is the new year in the Julian calendar. So they're like always, at the beginning of the Julian year, this is when this stuff is going to happen. Interesting. I don't know if that works. Life in the universe as we know it. Yeah. At least in the Ethiopian church. All right. Okay. So I could see but that puzzles me, Rimmer, now, because are American evangelicals who are making these same predictions in September all the time based on the Ethiopian Julian calendar, why would they do that? Why would they jump to the Julian calendar? That makes no sense. I guess some people have studied this calendar thing out better. And look at that, a year and a half. Man, Earl, you're like, what, a year over the madness level? At what point? Because if you've been a member 6 months, there's a screw loose somewhere. It's okay, though. We're all friends here. We're all quite mad here. So it's all right. Feast of Trumpets, different time and different calendars. Gotcha. See, I never really got into all this stuff, even as an evangelical myself, because I was I kind of, I guess, took Jesus's words to heart, like nobody knows. So I'm just going to roll, I'm just going to go be a Christian and do my thing. And I just never got into this end times prophecy stuff. So yes, but yes, long live the fluffle. There you go. I appreciate it though, Earl. Thank you very much. And more just than your membership. You've done so much for the channel and enriched my life personally so much. Thank you so much. But so many head pats. I think the new year is in that region because at that point they plant the crops. So the question then becomes the war in Iran right now. How does this fit into this calendar stuff? Seeing it's, what is it, March? It's nowhere near September. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that people use end times rhetoric and anything like that to justify this war, but I want to know how it fits into the prophetic thing when you have calendars and stuff. Like, look at the planet. Yeah, it could be there. Could be there. Yes. You're welcome, Earl. We have Oktoberfest at the same time as Feast of Harvest, Mass of St. Michael. Gotcha. Ides of March. Yeah. Yeah, beware the Ides of March. Shakespeare and Julius Caesar, which might partially not be history. Okay, so the Iran war is because Ramadan happened to be this time of year this year. Oh, so it's Ramadan now? This biblical prophecy stuff is very confusing. We can know when the end of the world is, but we're going to be really vague about it. That way, if we're wrong on our prediction, then we can just like what? Like, I don't see, because my thing every time we get into the Middle East is like this end times prophecy stuff comes up. So Ramadan ends tomorrow or Thursday, depending on what day it is for you. Like our Australian friends are already in tomorrow. They're in the future already. So different groups doing different things. See you maybe later. So it all has to do with Jewish holidays, which use the Jewish calendar. Rosh Hashanah, Jewish New Year, usually falls on September. Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, occurs in either late September or early October. And so they're basing all their end times prophecy on this calendar, which is supposedly the Julian calendar, but not. It's a Jewish calendar. Isn't this like isn't there one of the predictions of the end of the world that's very recent? Like the guy admitted, like, oh, I used the wrong calendar. Like I didn't use the Jewish calendar. I used the Julian calendar, and that's why I'm off by a couple of weeks. I think somebody did that. This all gets very confusing when you talk about end times, because the idea of reading the newspaper while you're holding a copy of the Bible and then all your prophetic maps are laid out on the table kind of confuses the crap out of me. Like why you would want to do that. Well, yeah, they like the moon, which always makes me wonder, John, if the original, like there seems to be this controversy of whether to worship the moon or worship the sun in ancient paganism. I wonder if that's the original religious argument. There's a New Jerusalem project, from what I've found. Israel thinks America is that. I'll assume you'll finish that in a minute. They always do. The problem is the God never knew how long the year was. Had to go to the pagans for that. How true is that? How true is that? Oh my goodness. But yes, like I wouldn't wouldn't put it past people. The Zionists have been after like the Temple Mount for years. So, uh, Sol Invictus. Yeah. Sol Invictus. Like it, it makes me wonder if the original theological argument of all time was a bunch of pagans sitting up on a hill, and they're saying, no, the sun god is the most powerful god. And the other ones are going, nope, the moon god is the most powerful god. And this was the original religious war. Like it wasn't like rabbits and ducks, like rabbit and duck symbol. Like it's not any of that. It's which one do we worship? Which is preeminent, the moon or the sun? You know, because you see this in a lot of mythologies, like, oh, then the water god. Yeah, you also have the god of the seas and the water, and then pagans think death is like, if you break it down to the primal forces, it's the force of the heavens, force of the water, force of the earth, and force of the spirit. You might throw fire in there too. So, well, yeah, they're not religious. They just want the land because God says that they can have it, but they're not religious. Tree and slapped the moon, and the rabbit kicked the tree and slapped. See, this whole thing bothers me because to me, it's just a more sophisticated way of, we worship the sun, they worship the moon, therefore we fight them. So you got the Islamic people, the Christian people, and the Zionist people all wetting their pants every time something happens in the Middle East, because whatever prophetic thing that they believe is going to happen in fulfillment, and they're happy to watch it happen. And I just do not understand that. So, you know, when I look at the war in Iran currently, there's a religious overtone to it to me, because there's always been this religious end of the world prophetic stuff. Now, whether the story about the DOD is true, I don't think it's impossible that several soldiers on many sides may be going to war thinking they're about to bring about the end. Like, and I think that's a mentality I would like to explore at some point. Like, why is it that we don't deal with that? So I don't know, but it's very, very interesting to me. Hold on. It's a classic move, the goalpost. The overwhelming majority of people use the Gregorian calendar. Orthodox only use the Julian calendar, religious circumstances. Even then, I'm not 100%. Yeah, like everybody is using a different calendar, and they're all like, nobody seems to realize that these calendars are like creations of human beings to explain something else. Like they're tools. A calendar is a tool. Like once you figured that out, and there's nothing significant about it. Like it's really weird. Was an Egyptian moon god though. Just a definite article. Yes. Yeah. Well, but that's it. That's the thing. Like we know for a fact that human beings have been very violent towards each other, and that religious causes have often been the cause of that violence. Like I remember watching a documentary video on there's a point in human history where literally human males, like the male of the species, is almost extinct because of constant warfare. Like there comes a point in human history where everybody is beating each other and killing each other so much that there's like very few human males left. Okay, like they've killed each other so much that they got to that point. And only for some reason they started stopping killing each other that the humanity rebounded. So it was like, you have to have a lot of different reasons to do that. And I can't help but think, there's always this religious tribalism that's now just gotten very sophisticated or so. So I just don't. And it's like everybody's afraid. Like everybody says, yeah, in the United States, you're allowed to have your own religion, whatever. But nobody is willing to call it out when it causes bullshit. Like it's like when it's on a grand national scale like this, like, I can see the mentality existing in some people that they're bringing about the end times. And maybe that's not a good mentality to have. So blood moons. Yeah. Wow. Oh, okay. I should use the head calendar. We have a problem, Michael. It ran out in like 2012, right? So we don't have a calendar anymore. So that's just that cycle that ended. So we're on a whole new cycle, but nobody's bothered to do an actual calendar that we can look at to know where we're on the cycle. So we're all confused. Well, that sounds about right. Dan McClan. Which one? The guy that there's so many Dans. And I'm going to go to my intermission, so I'll give you a chance to give me the thing, but I'll be right back in 2 minutes. I got to have my commercial break. So so there you go. But yeah, just explain which one you're talking about, because I know 3 of them, I think. Yeah. Got to put some music to this. All right, we're back. Oh, okay. Let's see. The scholar. My chief thought on him is I would classify him as a very good Bible scholar. Um, he has more expertise in certain areas than I do. That's for sure. When I look at the Bible and religion and stuff, I look at it more as a former theologian, somebody who's studied various thoughts on God. Like I have a good historical understanding of the history of theology, that sort of thing. He definitely looks at it more from a biblical scholarship point. The only thing that puzzles me about him is he's very critical of all of that, everything that bases every religion, including his own, and yet he still believes. Like there's still that puzzles me. Like like it like my scholarship into my own faith and my own religion kind of led me to where I am today, the rabid atheist. Okay, so it's one of those things that's puzzlement to me. I won't deny the man's expertise, and he's very honest about a lot of things, which is refreshing. There's a lot of Christian and other apologetic type Bible scholars that aren't honest about it. They'll lie about it. If you can stand the 2.5 hour time run of Apologia's latest video with Kip and company, that's a good deep dive into one of those type of apologists that is very dishonest about the text. Okay, so, but yeah, like I I don't understand why he still believes. That's like he believes his own religion. I don't understand because the same criticism he levels at everybody else, he could easily level the same at his own. So his knowledge, but he's not perfect like all of them. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's really good at that. Like the historical scholar view from personal beliefs, he can separate those two things very well. It's just I'm puzzled then as to why he keeps his personal beliefs. So I just don't get it. Um, Four blood moons, BS, and roasted. But he doesn't share specific. Yeah, he avoids that. Like it's like he doesn't want to talk about his personal beliefs because I don't think he's afraid about it. I think he's focused on what he's focused on is being an honest biblical scholar and that sort of thing. And that so, but the rest of it, it's like I'm kind of shrugging my shoulders. Like you do realize that this kind of blows your faith out of the water too, not just all the ones you criticize. Like it kind of kicks your ass too. So. Yeah, it might be that. It might be a personal thing where he just doesn't want to leave the fellowship of believers that he has. Like he likes the people he hangs with in church. There's actually a lot of church members that are that way. So I absolutely can see that rumor as being true. Like it's the one thing I give him that maybe he has good, deep connection, good friendships inside his church and stuff like that. And he just doesn't want to leave that behind. So he goes to services, does the thing, and he doesn't really believe. That's a very real possibility. So, but it puzzles me how he is critical of several things, but he just isn't. Yeah, I got that one. I got the old version of that one, Earl. And I can actually get that one up pretty quick here. Yeah, like the conversation that we're dealing with is these end times prophecy stuff, and I think do I have an alt cleaned up of that one of the Watchtower? I do somewhere. Oh, yep, there it is. I don't know if you've altered this since you gave me this copy. But yeah, like Dan McClellan, like he belongs to some of this stuff. Like he has to be connected to this stuff, but the whole Armageddon thing and all that stuff. Yeah. like like I like him. I like his scholarly work and I can back up his scholarship with a lot of my own. Like I like the guy, okay, to a certain extent. Do I trust him to be honest about his own faith or about some other things related to biblical scholarship and history? No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to get that. Hey, Tilting, how you doing? Well, I haven't seen you in ages. It seems like it's probably been a couple weeks, but yeah. So, oh, you made it smaller. Okay, yeah. So this is an old one. I'll get the new one uploaded in its place. So the next time I use it, it's just easy to grab it. The whole point was the Armageddon. Like, here, I'll make myself smaller and the image bigger, but like this is all JW Watchtower stuff with all their Armageddon predictions. It seems kind of good given the conversation at present. Like this discussion of the Middle East always leads into the prophetic nonsense that believers believe about the end of the world, and I really get nervous when people start throwing around weapons, okay, to back up their belief. Like it really makes me nervous. So just thoughts on the Veggie Tales. Oh, we have our own Veggie Tales. Haven't even been. See, we got the turnips. You can't get blood from a turnip. That's JW's. We have a lot of Veggie Tales actually. You know, Earl, do we have like a picture of all the veggies, the different veggies on any background yet? Like, I don't know if we do. Like, we got I got the tomato pope. Like, here's the tomato pope. Like, we have our own Veggie Tales here. Like, and, but yeah, like, I don't know that we have I don't know that we have. Yeah, well, I miss seeing you, Tilting. Like, do you have any word on Dave, like at Captive Desk? Because I haven't heard anything from anybody like for a couple weeks now, and I haven't seen him. But any news would be appreciated to ease my anxiety. So, hey, good to see you, Shanice. And good to see you, Kyle, if I didn't say so. And beam me up, Bob. I don't know. It's all along the watchtower. But yeah, but we have our own Veggie Tales here. Like, we need to put all the veggies on it. I honestly, Earl, we've got enough vegetables. I think we can put them all on the same picture. Like, I can see a moment where they all decide to gang up on Fangs for what's happened, and Fangs has to deal with the problem. That might be good lore. Yeah, things ran out for the Mayans. I was holding. It's not impossible. We're doing movie night, and I love this picture because Fangs is holding popcorn. So, but Earl does great work, and I there's a lot of things in this image that we'll have to do. So, thoughts on Gnosticism? It's turned into an answer questions night. Maybe that'll be a great Tuesday. Like, ask religiously. I already kind of do that on Monday though. So, I was surprised when I studied Gnosticism how prevalent it was in the early church. From a historical point of view, I think Gnosticism, the reason why people don't talk about it much is that quote unquote orthodoxy won the ideological political battles, and Gnosticism became a heresy. And that's the only reason why you don't hear more about it. But there were all kinds of flavors of Gnosticism. There are all kinds of flavors of Christianity. This idea that the early church wasn't super fragmented and Gnosticism was a part of that. Yeah, I think that's a myth. Like, there was tons of schisms. There were different viewpoints on God in the early church. So, and Gnosticism was one of those. So, I don't know. They seem to have lost the ideological war, but they've still continued to exist to this day. I remember having conversations with a Gnostic on one of my blogs 10, 11 years ago. And he was a Gnostic and came about and said, we had some very interesting conversations. So my thoughts on Gnosticism are, it's a religion like a lot of other ones, so I kind of dismiss it as something that doesn't have evidence. But I find the viewpoints interesting, and I find it's an interesting contrast to early church stuff. So it's one of those things. So let's see, Dave's not really in the loop. I asked the other day during Santa that he's okay, but his treatments are making him feel under the weather. I'm also worried. Okay. Thanks for the info. That's more than I knew. But yeah, I really like Dave. Like, Dave is a very likable guy, and I hate to see him going through this stuff. I'm not going to give him thoughts and prayers. I don't believe in that. I hope the treatments work. So, but I hope he has good doctors. So, Gnosticism actually is kind of a variant. Let me give you like, Jesus Christ could not have been physical. Like, they have this dualism, like physicality is evil and spirit is good. And so Jesus Christ was an expression of God on earth. If he was that, he had to be mostly spirit. That's why later on you'll see the writer of First John say, that which we have handled, that's what we have touched, that's what we have seen. Basically saying that this teaching that Jesus was just a spirit and couldn't have been flesh because that would have been made him evil, that was going around in the early church. And Gnostics were big proponents of that. So yeah, because you have the Arian heresy, you have the Marcion heresy, the Gnostic heresy. There were a whole bunch of heresies in the first 3 centuries of the church that were constantly being dealt with. So the early church is a hodgepodge of belief systems about Jesus. Like it's really interesting. Like, but the idea that this was some sort of unified movement back in the early days, it's just not true. Like there were so many heresies, there were so many differences of opinion on Jesus, who he was. Was he a man endowed with power by God and made the Messiah? Was he the reason he's born of a virgin? Is so that his godhood couldn't be corrupted by being the child of an actual human being, man. On and on the list goes. So yes, I love toast too, Ryan. Just a little salute there to Dave. But yeah, it's just one of those things with Gnosticism and stuff. Like as an atheist, of course, I find the whole study of religion fascinating from a poli-sci, how it affected the world, how it affected human history point of view. Like you can't pull religion out of world history. Like world history is dotted with religious things, and so you can't get rid of it. So, but yeah, it's very much like today. Like there's this moment where Christianity, a group of Christians, the so-called Catholic/Orthodox Christians, push everything out, and they use politics and they use everything else to push everything out. But all of these groups continued to survive. Like you have versions of quote unquote Protestantism against the standard church all through the church's history. So they're battles, like we talk. It's St. Patrick's Day, and like St. Patrick's handling of the pagans in Ireland is always a legendary talk about. Like getting rid of the snakes. But it's not just that. Like the Celtic cross is like a combination of the sun and the cross, which is a reference to the Irish god of the sun. So it's like, there was always these battles. And then later on, Ireland develops like this insular Christianity where they didn't have any contact with the Pope. So they just kind of developed on their own. And so when the church finally does get its claws back into Ireland a couple of hundred years later, they got polygamy, because that's in the Bible. They've got, different understandings of how the church should go. They have no concept of like monastic orders, I don't think, at that time either. So it was just really weird. All right. So Australia is trying to be part of a family. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we got a good one. It's almost like there are 4 separate comic books. Marvel ran Spider-Man in separate universes, just historical and real. Yes, that's actually a great way of describing it because the version of Jesus, depending on the group in the ancient world, whether you're Arian or Marcion or Gnostic or more Orthodox or Catholic, the version of Jesus is very different. That actually, it's like everybody's looking at Jesus differently and they're all in a parallel universe. That's actually not a bad analogy. So it's not a bad one, except it was real life and people really believed this stuff and it affected the way the world worked. Christianity is the best way to study human nature. It's the best documented part of human behavior. Stray is huge. He's new to church. All right. Miss Bigfoot, the toast emoji, the magic boot. But yeah, I'm honestly tilting. I hope for the best because I'd love to see there. So yeah, but I don't know that. I miss Dave. Dave's a good guy. So I see it in non-Nicene churches. Went back to the times of historical, if we even make out amongst the Catholic preachers. I don't know that you would. Like I've said it before, there's a part of Monty Python's Brian that is very historically based. It's probably it's pure fiction, but it's historically based in the idea that there were a lot of Messiah figures in Israel at the time. Like Jesus was just one of many. Okay, so Would he have a Jeep grave? I don't know. Yeah, he wouldn't have had a good, like the, what is the Hebrew Aramaic equivalent? I think it's Yeshua. Yeshua would be been his more of his name, but we got to anglicize everything and turn it into English. So, yeah, it's that Monty Python scene with all the messiahs talking about the end of the world. That's probably, I don't know if they were exactly that way, but the idea of multiple messiah figures proclaiming the word of God at the time, yeah, that was pretty true. Like, so it's there was this whole messianic movement because of the occupation of the Romans. Like they wanted their Messiah to come deliver them from the Romans. That's also pretty fat. The people who wrote the Gospels had enough of the history and understanding of the times to kind of, because they were closer, so they had some understanding. The problem is they're still writing many decades later, and there's just so much stuff that gets into it. So. Well, that's kind of the problem. The problem is most of them try to base it on the Gospels. The problem is the Gospels as history are shaky, given they're written by anonymous people. So, and have anonymous sources for the information. Yeah. Would you do that? Something like reach out to him and say we're all thinking about him, like wish him well. Yeah, I'd like to see him around again. Cancer is a bastard. So Trump did Greenland kind of away from Asia. Maybe. I don't know if he can. There's too many Christian fundamentalists that want the end of the world, and we got to get involved in the Middle East somehow to make that. So, Bigfoot myth and the adjacent myths are just weird to me because you're saying there's a whole other species existing, and even if it were real, so what? Yes. I'm looking for a man named Jesus, a rabbi. 7 people with that description raised their hand. Yeah, because it's a very common name. Yeshua is a very common name. So even back then. So it's not like you could get. That's one of the other troubling things about the Jesus narrative is it's a very common name, and even Jesus of Nazareth isn't necessarily a complete descriptor that would narrow you down to a single person. That's another problem with studying the historicity of Jesus is the commonality of the name. So it's like we want to study a historical figure in the United States named James Smith, like. And you walk in a room, anyway, James Smith in this room of 300 people, and 5 people raise their hand. It's like it makes a historical study of Jesus very difficult, which is why mythicists make a good point. So, yeah, which brings up the resurrection myth. So, let's see. The historical Jesus is just a hypothesis, like the Q source, anything published by David. Okay. All right. Thank you, Tilting. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate it. There is no consensus about. I don't know where you get the idea that there's a consensus about whether Jesus was historical or not. Hold on. Do I still? Yes, I do still have this in my favorites. There are, in this list alone, I'll post this this is just Richard Carrier's list, and there's like 47 historians in this one that don't even think that Jesus was a historical figure based on the evidence. There is no consensus about whether Jesus was a historical figure. It's not a question of they're wrong. It's a question of it's still an arguable point. Okay, so I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying if you think there's a consensus about this, you're very, very mistaken. So. Third, fourth church. I don't know what came before except Paul, and he wasn't original. He never knew Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. The Gnostics kind of outsprout of that. There's a lot of theories about the Gnostics because they combine some other beliefs in antiquity. But yeah, there's tons of them. Like it's not just there's just tons of these groups of people that start cropping out after the first century. Like, and some of them are quote unquote Orthodox Christians, some are more Catholic, some are more Gnostic. The Arian heresy and the Marcion comes along in the second century. So it's like there's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening. Like, and Paul even says this in First Corinthians, are you of Apollos? Like there's an Apollos movement that he mentions. So there's all these different churches. So there's that. So I do not believe in spirituality that much. I think there's as much evidence for spirituality as there is for a God that's convincing to me. So a lot of spirituality, because I am a former Pentecostal and I now recognize what that is. It's a lot of emotionalism that people make this bridge gap in their mind to some sort of something spiritual, but really it's emotional states. But I know that there are atheist Buddhists, for instance, that don't have a particular God, but they have spiritual beliefs. So that is a possibility. You can be a non-believer in gods, but still believe in some sort of spiritual fabric to the universe. So yeah, the Life of Brian actually kind of showed it. So there's a possibility of that. Like I can't remember, there's some evidence for John the Baptist outside the Gospels, but I can't remember what it is off the head. So yeah, so yeah, there's a consensus among biblical scholars because they have a vested interest in making sure he's historical. Like if you sign a statement of faith and say that you won't go against that statement of faith in your scholarship while you're working for an institution, that kind of binds your hands. So even if you come up with that, this is one of the things why Christian scholars who work for Christian universities aren't very respected, because you have to sign that statement of faith. So, but the idea that it's consensus among historians, no, like there's not a consensus about a lot of historical figures that way. There are some that have more consensus than others. So wait, was this about speed running the end times? I haven't been keeping up. Well, yeah, like there is like every time something happens in the Middle East, Kyle, like you have these various groups in Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, like, oh boy, the apocalypse is about to happen. Armageddon, here we come. Can't wait. And I've just been noting a trend in it. So could be like there's all types of Gnostics. Like Gnostic belief is very fluid. Like they're every time I tried to study Gnostics, I would run into different groups of them. So I mean, I don't know what Paul says he was dealing with. Like there's this guy Apollos that was also preaching the gospel. Supposedly, you had. So he makes the statement in First Corinthians, "Am I of Paul? Am I?" You say, "Are you not carnal and think as men?" Like you say, "I am of Paul. I'm of Apollos. I'm of Christ." And so there was definitely somebody out there preaching some sort of like Apollos type stuff. So, and he had to deal with it. So, yes, it's the cornerstone of a service. Yes, Bart Ehrman is one of those scholars that doesn't believe, but also believes that Jesus is historical, but he's only one. There are many others that do not. Okay, so no, he's not an historically established fact. Sorry, he isn't. So that's the problem. Like I'm sorry to break the news to you, but that's just not true. Like there's controversy about the existence of Jesus due to the source material being anonymous. Like sorry, it's historically anonymous. So Yeah, it seems to be basically fee-fees to me until somebody gives me evidence. Yeah, but that doesn't make him a Christian, and it doesn't necessarily make him a believer in Jesus for his salvation anymore. He used to be a Christian, much like myself. I would argue with Bart Ehrman on this point because he knows full well that the sources for Jesus' existence are purely hearsay, and he knows that. So, yeah, the God does that clash with Paul's theology, I think. Honestly, here's the thing about all this. You can make these prophecies mean whatever you want to. This is why I say prophecy doesn't prove anything. Like the reason I say prophecy doesn't prove anything is prophecy always requires human interpretation, and in human interpretation, you can make it mean anything you want. You can post hoc rationalize any event and say it was fulfillment of this prophecy. So, yeah, I mean, you could go that way. Like, I mean, I could also say that, Fangs one day while he was high, said something about Trump's going to be stupid and start a war with Iran, and say, look at that, fulfillment of the prophecy. But I just post hoc that. Like I can make up anything. This is the problem with all of this stuff. Like this is why biblical prophecy doesn't prove anything. Like this, oh, look at all the prophecies fulfilled. Like, yeah, if you squint real hard and change the words and massage it enough, yeah, it probably fits. If you make up a story to make the prophecy come true, yeah, you could do that. So I know Bart Ehrman very well. I used to read him a lot. Yeah, I mean, and that's why I say, like, I don't like I tell the mythicists and I tell the people that believe in Jesus that aren't necessarily Christians the historicity question. It's a probabilistic question, and that's the problem. There's no 100% guarantee either way, and both sides know it. So, and you can take your stand. I'm just waiting for the more scholarship. I'm like, yeah, you both have a point. Yeah, time for evidences. Oh, I got to do it now. Damn it, Michael. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we gotta use the one with the real seeker in it too. There you go. There's your evidences. Yeah, he's only one historian. Like I just gave a list of 47 of them that don't think that Jesus is historical based on their analysis of the evidence. So 47-1 so far. So if we're going numbers, which is not the way to do scholarship, but a lot of people think it is. So yeah, he's not the arbiter of universal fact. So yeah, there's controversy about Muhammad as well. Like Muhammad has some historicity problems. So oh, I understand what you're saying. Okay, but you need to understand that what you said, Jesus's existence as a historical person is an established fact. That is not true. Okay, that is just not true. We're talking, you want to bring out Bart Ehrman as your source, and then I point out to you there are 47 others that disagree with Bart Ehrman, and I'll add mine because I have a master's degree in theological studies. So, and I've studied the history of Jesus a little bit. I'll make it 48. But I could also say that he was a historical figure and join his side and be 2 to 47. That's not the issue. The issue is the examination of the evidence. And the only evidence you have for the existence of Jesus that's, says bold-faced that he existed is anonymous with anonymous sources. That's not good evidence. It's bad evidence. It's hearsay evidence. And the other historical things often are misread. So, yeah, Bart does that whenever you do that because I think Bart's kind of hung his hat on Jesus as a real person. He's just not the person that everybody thinks he is, and that kind of leaves that. So, yes, rumors of war are everywhere, like at all times in all times of history. What a very general statement about the state of the world. So, Hey, not a problem. I try to respond when people are genuine and looking for a conversation. I don't have a problem with that. Like, I've had theists come in here though, and they wanted to talk, like yesterday, everybody wanted to talk about prayer. Then suddenly the guy wants to change the subject to what atheists believe about love, when I've just said, like, give me your evidence that prayer works. And, and like, seriously, and he wanted to talk about my views on love and material. I'm like, no, just give me the mechanism by which prayer works. I have no problem talking to people. It's when they want to dodge my questions that I usually get upset. So, did your friendship with your friend change once you did? Oh, yes. Like, we're not friends anymore. They left me though. Okay. Like, I have yet, I think I cut off 3 people when I left the faith because they were being very toxic in their comments towards me on various social media sites. And so I cut them off and blocked them so I wouldn't have to deal with them because they weren't real. They were obviously showing they weren't friends, but there were a lot of people that just straight up left out of my life. I had a lot of minister friends because I was a pastor at the time too. So I haven't heard from a lot of them since either. So in a major way, a lot of people just left. So, but now I have the fluffles, so I'm good. So realistic. Just too little evidence. Yeah, it's like if you're gonna say you're a mythicist because you don't think the evidence is all that great for the existence of Jesus, I'm down with that. Like, that's okay with me. It's a great place to stand. I think Bart Ehrman's too far on the other side, though. I think he should at least acknowledge that Jesus wasn't a real person. Like, it's possible that he wasn't a real person, but I don't think he wants to do that. So. Seals like the Dead Sea Scrolls, and we would be reminded of that physical evidence. Yeah, it isn't really. Yeah, I know, but I let him talk. The Josephus quotes. Okay, let's see. Those are modern. Tacitus mentions the church. He doesn't actually mention Jesus. He just says some people worship some people. If I said, this group of people over there worships Thor, does that make Thor real? No. Or historical as a figure? No. The Josephus quotes also talk about the church more than they talk about Jesus, and we know for a fact that some of them have been altered. Same thing with plenty. Like, a lot of these are very questionable. Like, they're vague, and any serious historian is going to sit there and say no. Like, well, that's just my point. Okay, you got all these historians that think Jesus, that's fine. Richard Carrier doesn't, by the way, I'd say Richard Carrier doesn't say that. Like, I literally gave you a list, and it's Richard Carrier's list of people that don't believe that Jesus is a historical figure, and he's one of them. So he's not in your list. Okay, you might do a little bit more research on this, Sensei. Like, you do realize there's a lot of people that question the historicity of Jesus, and that's perfectly legit. So. Yeah, it's not good. Josephus isn't good evidence for the existence of historicity of Jesus. It just isn't. And the 2 historians that are Roman historians, they spend more of their time talking about the church who worships a certain god. Well, that's like talking about a group that worships Zeus or Julianus or Odin. Like, just because a group of people worship something doesn't mean that something is an actual historical figure. So, it doesn't prove historicity. It's not good evidence. So, Spider-Man. After reading Spider-Man, Parker fan would call an auspice that is prophecy. Yeah, he's a mythicist. Like, Richard Carey is a mythicist. Thank you for listing a mythicist under the people that you think is. It seems to me that you don't have, Sensei doesn't have a good grasp of the actual debate that's going on about the historicity of Jesus. He probably should go educate himself for a little while, and then he'll realize that this is more controversial than he thought. But all right, I got about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to have to wrap it up. I do have to go to work. Been a great St. Patrick's Day. I may put on the hat here just as a here. Don't have to give me any more money, but because it's St. Patrick's Day and I want to complete the outfit, here we go. So No. Actually, it would be the other way around. I think the brainwashing is those that believe in the historicity of Jesus. Okay, I think your analogy cuts both ways. I'm not sure that's the flex you think it is. You just sent me all the vegetables? Oh, I got to put this up. Ooh. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. Oh, this is like the best present you could have given me, Earl, by the way, just so you know. Uh, okay, so this is Veggie Tales Fang style. All right, let's see if I can get this up because this is the way we're going to end this stream. Veggie Tales Fang style. Here we go. And I'm going to diminish myself. So this is all the vegetables we've done so far. Yeah, I mean it could be reversed. Sure, status quo, yes. Most of the people that believe in flat Earth are also theists. Like I don't know too many non-atheist secular types that believe in a flat Earth. It's very rare. But this is like all the veggies, all the stuff that Earl's done over what, probably a year and a half now of with fangs. So it's our version of the Veggie Tales. I think this is awesome as always. So thank you very much, Earl, for getting this out while the stream is happening. And it's been an epic Tuesday broadcasting. I've never done one ever, I think. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I do have to run. There's this thing called work that they make me do at night, and I have to do my job. I'll be here tomorrow. We will be doing red letters, red flags. We'll be talking about Jesus and divorce, and it'll be my actual birthday that day too. So we may do something at the end of the stream for that. Although my actual birthday celebration will be the 20th on Friday. I haven't asked Earl, but she'll probably be invited to be in there with me and a few others. So I may even post a link to the stream just for people to wish me a happy birthday if they want to. So there's that. And then Thursday, of course, deconversion hangout, and we'll hang out as deconverted folks, and we'll do that. So thanks everybody for stopping by tonight. So may fangs on this St. Patrick's Day, the guy who really got rid of all the snakes in Ireland, fangs himself, because they're just a nuisance. He wants to nibble on all of your hearts, and you should let him. Make sure you put a circumcised carrot. You can see it in the middle of the picture there on top of your stash to make sure fangs might not take your stash. He might take the carrot instead. May he look at you. We also have to have the obligatory baby fangs picture. May you deeply peer into his eyes and come to a fuller understanding of the atheist demigod that he is, fangs, and enjoy his presence in your life. Nom nom and all of that. Make sure he purifies your vegetables from religious corruption, because all the veggies are religiously corrupt except the carrot. Nom nom and all that. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Appreciate all of you. As always, folks, live your best life. You only get one go around, and so then it's over. So you want to take all your time, your money, your opportunities, and give them to yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do. And don't waste them on the trappings of religion and faith. That's a dead end. I speak from experience. And as always, folks, thanks for stopping by. I will catch you all tomorrow. We'll be looking again at Jesus' teaching and another edition of Red Letters, Red Flags. So I'll see you then. And appreciate all of you for coming out tonight. And before I get, thanks to Josh for the donation. And thanks to I Killed Earl for being a member for a year and a half. Thank you. Thank you very much. See y'all later. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end to find out how you can support the channel better. Of course, there's always the normal notions of just hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit your notification bell, and share the video with your friends and family that you think would be interested. That's always very appreciated. If you want to support the channel in a more tangible way, there's several options. You can super chat or super thanks in the comments or during a stream. Those are always very welcome. But you also can become a member of the channel. Members have certain perks like getting the videos early, things like that. They also have some good custom emojis during chat. So all of these things are good benefits to members, but they also support this channel and its work to continue to normalize atheism and deconversion, for which I'm very appreciative. It keeps me going, and it keeps me as a content creator being able to do more and more as a content creator. So if you choose those methods of support, thank you very much. And I appreciate you once again for staying to the end and listening to other ways that you can support the channel. Appreciate it. Thanks, and I'll catch you next time.